Well, it's Stuart Williams who is red hot right now, going up against Marshall Kent. The third time these two have gone head to head, and that particular individual series is tied at 1 apiece. Now, if the doubles play is anything to go by, Kent is the guy that's got to find something a little bit different. Williams has just got to keep doing more of the same, but a fired up, motivated and confident Stuart Williams is a scary prospect.
Some would say a hot beef stew, but he's trying to keep rather cool just there. But yes, off that last doubles game, he'll be really going high.
Made a slow start on that Friday night when he was well beaten by this man here, but Kent had some ups and downs. Now, will he do what he said he was going to do and loft the ball? Yes, he is. And he's lucky that he didn't leave anything too unpleasant there, because that is not the perfect start for him. Little shake of the hand there.
Slightly experimental with that. He's way left on the approach with his feet, and he's just lofting it down the lane through the first 8 or 10 feet. As you can see there, getting to the outside boards and still ripping back onto the head pin. We're playing on the burn. This is the third game that has been played on this lane dressing. So whatever damage is out there in the lane condition, it's already done. So the guys have got to try and avoid where the oil has gone missing from.
And that is why he is lofting it, to get it clear of that oil that's on the first 6, 7, 8 feet of the lane. We saw him do that earlier in the Weber Cup. He did it to very good effect as well.
Yeah, Marshall is actually quite famous for his loft on troubled lane conditions.
Williams had absolutely no trouble in doubles. Let's see if that carries on in singles play. Ooh, that's not the start he wanted.
Gosh, that one just hurried on a bit quick, didn't it? It made the head pin, but didn't have any drive through it to break anything up. He's right, he's perfect there, but it just didn't snap back, did it? Look, and that's the 2-8-10, which is an almost impossible split. Likely to be an open frame, and is.
So the only way is up then for the big fella. He's in Glendale, Arizona these days with his American wife. A young family on the go.
Yeah, new family as well. Young Brady was born since the last Weber Cup. Stu occasionally gets back to his original hometown at Ellesmere Port near Manchester. There's the loft.
He too leaves a little bit of a mess. Sleeper there. So whilst Williams might have left an open frame, the good news for the European perspective is that Marshall is still struggling to work this lane out.
Yes, he's not got off to the good start that he was hoping to. Ball doesn't seem to be finishing that back end on the right hand side, although that's the dry part of the lane. Some oil may have been pushed down there, but probably not enough to make that. It's all in the ball reaction. And that one really took off, didn't it? So a chance for Stuart to hit a strike here and take the lead.
Well, that is the point. If you're going to have an open frame, it is never good, but get it out the way early. So as you say, if Williams can take all 10 here, but it'll be interesting to see what happens, because it is the third of 3 matches before this lane is redressed. The oil is all over the place, and the players will have to work out how the lane is playing. And he's left exactly the same mess as the first frame. Now that statistically is virtually impossible.
Well, someone shouted snap, because that's absolutely identical, as you say. The ball got to the right position there, just didn't come back. Just touched the headpin, and he's quite baffled by that. It's the 2-8-10, which, as I say, it's the impossible split.
Well, this is going to take some coming back from.
Well, depending whether Kent can get on a strike line.
Well, that's the one saving grace here for Williams at the moment. Kent isn't exactly firing on all cylinders either. He's lofting that ball through the oil, missing out, bypassing the first 6, 7, 8 feet of it. But he still isn't finding a consistent pocket hit. He's been fortunate to avoid any real mess down the back end of it. But you do get the feeling the first man to strike will grab the initiative in this particular match, because they're both struggling at the moment. Now can Kent find that elusive strike? Yes, he can.
That's very much what he was looking for. That's what the loft was all about. Get that ball down lane, get it out to the down lane marker, and hope it just snaps back properly, and that did. And the 8-pin was the last to go, which was a great looking shot. So there's work to do for Williams.
Well, this has got to be a strike. It certainly won't be a 2-8-10 again. That's impossible. That's much more like it. Well, he's in business, and this match is not over yet. Far from it. It hasn't got away from him.
No, but with 2 open frames, it's going to be difficult. He's going to have to hit a few strikes. He was the man in form coming into this game.
We'll send our statisticians into a frenzy here, but I can't think off the top of my head of a Weber Cup point that has been scored and won with 2 open frames this year. It's very rare, historically, but it's a possible here. Let's see if Kent can convert with a double like that.
It's quite an amazing style that Kent's got. He's ranked #1 in the world at the moment on the World Bowling Tour, but he's changed from a 5-step to almost a 3-step approach and just lofts that ball out. Gets the reaction in the back end and carries 2 strikes in a row, so he's more comfortable now. Pressure will be very much back on Stu Williams.
Well, he's got to match that. And somewhere along the line, Williams has also got to hope that Kent will leave him something to attack. That was never going to work. He's lucky to get away with 9.
Nick, you're quite right, yes. Very lucky indeed to get away. As the ball came off his hand, he sort of sighed as if to say, that's not right. But it's not, because it's flush through the head pin. And very fortunate just to leave the 1 standing. Makeable spare.
Yeah, but that's a worrying looking gap that's starting to emerge now.
Yeah, 29 pins the difference.
Kent stays on after this, by the way, in doubles competition. He'll be up with Sean Rash. They're going up against Don Barrett and Martin Larson. So Kent, once again, is getting a heavy workout from his skipper. He'll be 3 in a row. Yesterday in the afternoon session, he had 4 in a row. So he's the workhorse on this American team. And he's certainly dialed in now. He's very unlucky not to carry that 10.
Yes, he's throwing a style that he's used to and he's quite comfortable with. Not every player in the world would be comfortable doing this, lofting it down off a very short approach. But he's certainly getting some pin action down there. Unfortunately, just to leave the tap on the 10 pin. It's wobbled, but it hasn't gone.
So it just keeps Williams afloat in this match, but he will have to strike. So frustration then for the American. And speaking of frustration, up comes Stu Williams, who opened up with back-to-back open frames. That is quite a conference that's going on with Don Barrett down there.
Yes, it will be interesting to see if there's any adjustment here from Williams. But he should know his own game. He's a former World Masters champion. He's won tournaments all over the world. He's shot 300 games all over the world.
Well, that had to be a strike, and it was. That's a big ball. Really slowed it down, took his time. It'd be interesting to know what he and Don Barrett had to say prior to that shot.
Yes, he's moved left on the approach, thrown the ball wider on the lane, and got a nice reaction in the back end. It's come roaring back and made the pocket.
So it keeps him afloat here. But it's still Kent with a comfortable advantage going into the second half of this particular match. I want to maintain that with another strike here. Oh my goodness, he's lucky to avoid the 7-10. He's so lucky.
Well, he certainly hit the pocket hard, didn't he? Off that three-step loft approach. Really hits well, but the 4 goes around the 7. And something hit, well, the messenger hits the 10 and just loses a single pin. But there it was, the 7-10 split just for a moment.
Yeah, but that's potentially closed the gap to single pins if Williams can double. So this one far from over. Both of them really working on this lane. You can see the difference. On fresh oil, these two would be just bubbling away nicely, but here, with the oil all over the place.
Yeah, needs a strike here for 30 pins, and that will bring him close to just within 7 pins of Kent with 4 frames to go.
Yeah, it's another high pressure ball, this. Is it another strike? Is it game on? Yes, it
is. Great looking shot from Stewart there. He too has now moved way left on the approach, almost standing where Marshall Kent starts from. Getting the reaction in the back end, carries all 10. Great looking shot, 2 in a row, and he'll be pleased with that. Something to work on in the last 4 frames.
Yeah, and that's a long, long way to go in this one. Look at that, the deficit just 7 now. So Kent is starting to feel the pressure. Now, he got away with avoiding the split last time out. He'll continue to loft, I'm sure. He's done just that, and that's biting in and taking all 10. That was much better. Good reaction there from Kent.
Yeah, as I said, it's a style that he's used to playing. He's very much in a comfort zone. 3-step approach, loft the ball out, just let it rip back on the dry part of the lane. As I say, it's the 3rd game that's been played on this lane dressing.
And as Williams gets ready, Kent has gone over and is having a conversation with E.J. Tackett and Kyle Troop that have gone over there in the players' area. It's an indication of how much help these players need, that they are just bouncing ideas off each other on a lane that is clearly deteriorating. But it's Williams that's got the momentum now, having built that with the double. Can he convert this into a turkey and just stay tucked in with 3 to play? Needs another strike to keep the pressure on, and that'll do it. The heat is on now.
Yeah, great looking shot from Stewart. 3 strikes in a row, turkey time. Absolutely rips the rack and stays within 7 pins of Kent now with only 3 frames to go. So maybe the first player to glitch could well be the loser.
Well, up comes Marshall Kent, who, as you said, Cass, has completely adjusted his style for this 3rd match on this oil, lofting the ball, just throwing it through the first few feet to good effect. But now that 7 leave potentially gives Williams the chance to jump in front here.
What a funny old game, and it's the scoring system that does this. Yes, if Kent can spare here and make 19, Stewart Williams can strike and take a 4-pin lead.
Well, he's got to make absolutely sure of this, and we have seen those missed. Jesper Svensson won't need reminding of that. He's missed 2 of those. Well, that's a good solid one. He'll be disappointed though, because that loft of his seemed to have solved a lot of his problems.
And there it is, you can see it, look at that. The first bounce is past the dots and past the arrows almost. Almost 10 feet he lofts that ball. But as I say, it's a style that he's used to playing on tough lane conditions around the world. Okay, Stewart Williams, you need a strike to take the lead.
Well, what an unlikely scenario this was 6 frames ago, when Williams had left 2 open frames. But he's got a chance here to just get his nose in front. He knows how big this is.
Yeah, he's looking for strike number 5.
No, the 10, is it going to go? Yes! Oh, what a delayed reaction that was.
Stuart Williams absolutely raises the roof. And some fantastic body language. What a great shot this was. This is the 4th strike in a row. Slightly light in the pocket, but there's the messenger for the 10-pin, and away it goes. What a great looking shot.
Just beating the mechanism coming down as well. Look at that. There goes the mechanism, but the pin went. And Williams goes in front. Frame 9 coming up. Huge pressure suddenly on the shoulders of Marshall Kent, leading all the way, but has been overhauled. And this now a high-pressure ball for the American. And he's cracked under the pressure as well.
High through the head pin. Leaves the 3 and the 6 standing and really much under pressure, and he knows it. He's given Williams a chance to steal this one. Totally misses a pocket, high through the head pin, leaves the 3 and the 6.
How much of that was mental pressure, knowing that he had to strike, having been overtaken?
Well, you can tell by the look on his face how much pressure it was. But he's got to spare this one. Do he stay in the game?
Well, Stuart Williams has put himself and Team Europe in with a great chance here. He's got to stay cool. Got to keep that fan going, whatever it takes. Against the odds, Stu Williams has put himself in a point-winning position here. And Marshall Kent, who's been chucking that ball down the lane, might have chucked this point away. Back-to-back strikes, Williams will shut him out here.
It is head-to-head match play. 2 of the top players in the world going head-to-head, and the pressure's been put on Kent by the professionalism of Stu Williams. 4 strikes in a row, looking for another.
Oh, not this time, not this time. It still keeps him in front. If he spares and strikes, he still wins.
Well, he's going to be a little bit fortunate. He had a 4-9 split standing for a second. High hip, and there's the 4-9 split. The 4's gone and nearly takes the 9 with it. Unfortunately, stands, but let's hope it's a spare for him, and it is.
He can't afford to miss that. It's a 5-pin difference going into the deciding frame. Marshall Kent, who's been leading all the way, has been overhauled in the home straight.
Quite simple, really, Nick. Marshall must strike to have a chance. And if he does, Stu can still win on a high spare.
Well, what must be going through Marshall Kent's mind now? This has been a real nail-chewing point, this one. And we still don't know which way it's going to go. Kent must strike. He lofted that high. But look at the result. He's done his bit.
231, and I'm just going to correct myself. To say the strike from Kent means that Stuart must strike as well to have a 2-3-6, 2-3-1 victory. Great looking shot here, trying to get himself out of trouble. Crucky's thrown that over 6th arrow and still makes the pocket and carries 10.
Well, we saw last night Sean Rash had to strike with his very last ball to win a point against Martin Larsson. Now the pressure goes to Stu Williams, who is in exactly that situation as well. A strike and you win. Anything else, you lose.
Just keep an eye out on Stuart's body reaction if he strikes. He will raise the roof here at the Metrodome, but it can only be a strike for a European victory.
Well, it'll register on the Richter scale if Williams does strike. He's really taking his time here. There is no clock ticking away that says he's got to go. But completely unhurried here. But everything on this ball. Is it a strike? Yes, it is! It's a point for Europe, and Stu Williams has come through big time.
Raises the roof on the last ball. It's the world bowling scoring system that brings games like this to the last ball shootout. Europe take another point, 236 to 231.
From back-to-back open frames, Stuart Williams has come from way back. Marshall Kent, though, knows he let that one slip away. And Kent has got to regroup mentally very quickly because he's up next in doubles play. But Stu Williams can celebrate. A huge win for him. He won with Don Barrett in the doubles and he won a nail-biter in singles. And Europe have breathing room once again. 13-11 they lead. It'll be doubles play up next.